Hey everybody. My energy is going to be a little off just because of everything I've been going through, but I'm going to keep trying to answer questions and post reels and that sort of thing. I think I just need a little more relaxation time as I do this, so I've been lightening my workload and that that so that I can focus on the things that will keep me moving and progressing. And one of those things are Q&As. Q&As are easy things that I enjoy doing, and I thank each and every one of you for asking questions because they are not just useful for you, they're useful for me. They help me a ton, and I just enjoy them a lot. And it helps lift my energy and in that when I'm going through stuff like I am now. So one of the questions that was asked was, why do people think fairies are bad or that they were removed from the earth? So I don't laugh in fun. I laugh in this is one of those questions that I don't know what the word is, but right now anyway. But this is one of those questions that kind of it shows how much work we have to do in the spiritual community. It's it still surprises me how much information is out there, and it's not just this question. I saw a post the other day, and the comments on it were just ETs are evil, fairies are bad, everything's demonic, that sort of thing. It's like, no, that's so far from the truth. That's such a fear vibration, and people don't understand it. And part of it, I feel, is to take us away from embracing the earth. So there's a couple of things to think about with this. When it comes to fairies, why are fairies bad in this? Some fairies have done bad things. Storytelling. Positive storytelling does not sell, does not spread, does not disseminate, does not get told through time. If I sit and have a discussion with Doug, the juniper gnome, nobody cares. People don't care that they're not going to go tell that story over and over that, hey, you had a peaceful discussion with a gnome, hey, you danced with the fairies, hey, you met a frog folk wizard. They don't care about that stuff. It sounds interesting, and there are people that do care, but the majority do not. And so you'll also see me playing with, I have my candle and stovetop lighter, fidgeting because of my energy right now. I need to push it somewhere. But they the storytelling aspect, one of the biggest things I learned from writing fantasy books, fear sells. Fear is the number one thing that sells. Look at all the movies, look at the popular movies. Fear of death, it's one of the number one ways to sell something. Is person is put into a situation, there's a chance of death, a risk of death for XYZ reason, that story will sell. But if I say I sat beside a juniper gnome and had a casual conversation, it doesn't sell. So we have a mythology of storytelling and lore that is based in fear because a few people experienced fearful things. However, if you look at the lore of the fairy tales, of the tales that are about like leprechauns, for example, there's a lot of fear around leprechauns and different things. If you look at the lore, the true lore, the old stories, the leprechauns were never evil. The person did something to upset the leprechaun. Almost every time, the person, the human, did something to upset the fairy, to cross a boundary, to do something that wasn't respectful, which led to a fearful story, which shifted into saying they're bad, they're malicious. They're not. It just depends on how you interact with them, which fairies you're talking to, and if you respect them. As for them being taken from this world and being bad a little bit more, first of all, Christian lore, when the Romans invaded Ireland, Scotland, all that, they came in and they hated the pagans. They created a propaganda uh, program or policy, whatever, can't think of the right word, but a propaganda machine basically to get the Roman Empire on board with hating pagans because it didn't fall in line with Christianity and they wanted to convert them. They needed a reason to convert them. So they started saying they were evil, they were, you know, worshiping demons and all this. Now, at the time, they were very nature based spiritual people believing in fairies. Christians had a uh, view of fallen angels. And what they did is they took the fallen angel story and said that, well, your fairies are the fallen angels who were kicked out of heaven and are now fairies, and therefore you should not follow them because they are fallen, they are evil. So that's how they got a lot of them to conform because they used parts of the natural spiritual stuff and then related it to Christian storytelling that wasn't actually even true. They just used it to manipulate people and made them evil. They were never evil. That's just storytelling. That's just manipulation to control a population. And so that's what the Roman Empire did. They controlled the narrative. They took that back, told the Roman people. They converted everybody they could. They killed who they couldn't convert, and that sort of thing. And remember, fallen angels, I'm very big on this. Fallen angel does not mean good or bad. Fallen means vibration. They fell from heaven. Their vibration fell. They did something. We have some good stories out there in movies and stuff too of like angels being angelic, then doing something to help humanity because they can't stand to watch something happen, but that thing creates karma, creates something that kicks them out of heaven. Doesn't mean they were bad, doesn't mean they were good. You know, it could go either way. But fallen angel just means a fallen vibration. Fairies were never fallen angels to begin with. They're a creation of many beings, another dimension, another world, another space and time. And it depends on which, when you say fairies, it's like, okay, which type, which world are we talking about type of thing. There's many of them, not just one. And the idea that they've been removed from Earth, I've heard people say things like that. That does not resonate with me at all. They're still here. They're still right beside us, living beside us. I feel like the storytelling of them being bad, fallen angels, being removed from Earth is to remove people from experiencing them because if you wake up and you experience fairies, you start to realize you're not alone on Earth. You're not the highest order of being on planet Earth, and that God, the universe, spirit, whatever it is, created others here. Mother Earth created others, in that we share that world together. And in sharing that, we have unity and come back to unity consciousness and lifting the vibration of the earth. When you say that everything's bad that comes from the earth other than humans, you're essentially saying, getting into that mindset of like, oh, we need to go outside of earth, we need to leave it, we need to um, you know create division. Division's the word. I mean, create division within the realms of earth, when actually that's the opposite of what we need to do. We need to create unity. We can't create division. And the one example that they popped in my head when this question was asked was, there was a time 500 years ago where people thought tigers, bears, wolves, all these other creatures were demons, were bad spirits, evil things. They're not. They're just animals. Now, you could use that and apply that to other beings, fairies, ETs, all that. They're just things we don't understand, or other people don't understand for the most part. They're not to be feared when you understand them. If you understand them, you won't fear them. If you don't fear them, you can't be controlled. If you do fear them, you can be controlled. So keep that in mind. Love you all. Grateful for each and every one of you.